Growing up is hard, but the hardest part is not having any money or any way of making it, not legally at least. My folks never gave me an allowance, just wasn't their way. So as soon as I was old enough to work, which the state said was 14, I started picking up part-time shifts at the shoe factory. No, not the one where they caught the manager making meth after hours. The boring one in the Twin Pines Mall. Maybe we were named after the real deal, but I never got the whole factory thing either. One of the unforeseen consequences of working weekends at the factory was becoming a regular at the Burgers and Such across the street. Sure, I could have hit up any number of food court spots in the mall, but I didn't want to get too chummy with any of the employees, since they might see it as a slight should I opt to dine elsewhere. Once you get used to the little critter kill shelter next door, it was actually a pretty nice Burgers and Such. Kept the place quiet at least, except when you could hear the critters. Luckily, that never lasted long. Anyway, I ate at Burgers and Such often enough to strike up a rapport with one of the workers and such. Eddie. Dog shit on the deep fryer, to be honest, but a good enough guy. See, because we didn't both work at the same mall, things between me and Eddie felt pretty equal. So I kept coming back. Point is, becoming a regular means practicing discipline and consistency when it comes to both your order and your outfit. Because I always went on my lunch break, my shoe factory employee uniform pulled double duty as my Burgers and Such customer uniform. I always ordered the same thing. A number 3 with cheese, fountain soda, and a large fry. It's a solid order if I do say so myself. I even petitioned Burgers and Such to name it after me. No dice. I even started going to Burgers and Such when I wasn't working. Started keeping a spare shoe factory uniform in my car so they'd still recognize me as a regular. After about a year of ordering the number 3 with cheese, fountain soda, and large fry, as well as making what you could call small talk, Eddie took me aside and told me there was something he'd been dying to ask. In a low whisper, Eddie asked why I never ordered anything off the Burgers and Such secret menu. I told him the truth. I didn't even know they had a secret menu, let alone how one might go about ordering it. Eddie told me to look it up when I got home. So I did. Much to my parents' chagrin, I wasted my whole weekend reading reports of ordering off the Burgers and Such secret menu. And even other places people claimed had secret menus, including the shoe factory. Funny thing is, after he told me about the secret menu, I never saw Eddie again. Maybe he quit or got fired or transferred to another Burgers and Such on the other side of town so he could cut down on his commute and spend more time with his young children. But I don't know. I never asked. That weekend when I stopped by on my lunch break, there was a new cashier behind the counter. Her name tag said Rhonda. She was certainly no Eddie, but she still seemed pretty cool. In these uncharted waters, I was just too scared to order from the secret menu. So I played the hits and asked Rhonda for a number 3 with cheese, a fountain soda, and a large fry. She asked if I was absolutely sure that's what I wanted to order. I asked if I could maybe order off the secret menu. She told me to follow her.
Rhonda led me behind the counter and through the Burgers and Such back kitchen. We arrived at a door that said employees only. Without saying another word, Rhonda unlocked it for me. Behind the door was a set of stairs. Rhonda pointed toward the darkness. I took a step down, but heard something scurrying below. Rhonda just smiled and motioned me on. I took another step. There were already about a dozen others in the basement upon my arrival. I recognized a few of my fellow regulars. We'd never spoken, but I knew their orders. 2 fried chicken and suches, fries, and a frozen cola. 1 black coffee and a hash brown. 5 corn dog kids meals. Hold the toys. Someone banged a gavel, and a robed man wearing a plastic wolfman mask, who I now believe to be Vic, the assistant manager, asked me if I could please take a seat in one of the folding chairs, or else. Wolfman Vic told us we were now part of a beauty pageant, and we would be subjected to 3 rounds of intense competition. His words, not mine. Everybody else seemed to be going along with the proceedings without much fuss. Couldn't tell whether it was because they were familiar with the whole thing or just being polite. Personally, I thought it was an honor just to be nominated. My stomach growled, yearning for the number 3 with cheese, fountain soda, and large fry. As the competition commenced, I kept an eye on my watch. I only had a few minutes left on my lunch break. Technically, I never even ordered off the damn secret menu. I'd only asked Rhonda if I could, but I suppose that's enough. Vic explained that for the first portion of the beauty pageant, we would be judged on our personality and intelligence through a series of escalating inquiries. Some of us contestants were asked about complex global, socioeconomic, and geopolitical scenarios, or to opine on the Sisyphean nature of creating art in the digital age. Others were asked to spell simple vocabulary terms, or to recite passages from minor manifestos. As for me, well, they asked me about the hardest Lego set I'd ever assembled, which was this really sick roller coaster. Had a loop-de-loop and everything. They also asked if I could take down a barely domesticated boar with nothing but my bare hands, which I reckon I could in a pinch, and if I'd ever set up an aim-away message with Jimmy Eat World lyrics. I lied and said I hadn't. Next, they demanded we show off our God-given secret talents. I didn't know if I had any talents, God-given, secret or otherwise. So I told a story about my sister swallowing spiders and called it stand-up. One of the other contestants, Rithka, showed us how she had 6 toes on her left foot and only 4 on her right. Now, if you ask me, that's not a talent, but hard to deny it's God-given. Turns out the guy who called himself Milk Shakespeare could actually freestyle. And hot coffee busted out a routine best described as a cross between a striptease and interpretive dance. The judges gave the same polite smattering of golf claps for each demonstration of so-called talent. For the final round of the pageant, we would be judged by our inner beauty, by which I'm pretty sure they meant our outer beauty. But first, they had a surprise for us. Dr. Gummy Bear, the Burgers and Such mascot, was here to give each of us a checkup. I couldn't believe it. I had always wanted to meet her in person. God bless Dr. Gummy Bear. Then the judges asked us all to strip down to our 2-piece bikinis and to raise our hand if we needed one provided for us. The judges were worried there weren't going to be enough 2-piece bikinis to go around, meaning we might need to share. That didn't go over well with the contestants. So to squash our beef, the judges invoked sudden death elimination. Milk Shakespeare and Weird Toes Rithka were eliminated. They would not get to wear the 2-piece bikinis. The remaining pageant contestants feigned disbelief. Most of us just wanted to go home. Or back to our shift at the shoe factory, which we were totally late for. I was still wishing I'd got my beloved number 3 with cheese, fountain soda, and large fry. I decided, win or lose, I probably wouldn't come back to this particular Burgers and Such again.
The judges conferred amongst themselves before announcing it was time to crown this year's winner. Congratulations, Jessica. Everyone's chanting your name. Jessica! 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 I wasn't surprised she won. She conforms to the conventional beauty standards, especially in the two-piece bikini. Her secret talent was that she's an amateur contortionist and that her parents owned this Burgers and Such location. We were all really happy for Jessica and also to go home. But then, Dracula and the Wolfman shared a look, and Jessica was promptly disqualified, dethroned, and quickly escorted back upstairs. I never saw Jessica after that day either. I hope she's someplace safe. Maybe with Eddie, but probably not. They asked if any of us cared about winning, and when no one else raised their hand, I raised mine. I didn't care about winning as much as I cared about free stuff and new experiences, and this made me seem like it could lead to both. Also, I'd been there for a few hours, and at that point, I'd be lucky to keep my job at the shoe factory. The judges led me back upstairs where a gaggle of press had gathered. Flash bulbs and microphones careened as I was shuffled over to a shoddy podium. I started calling on reporters and taking questions. Do you think that the competition was rigged? Who cares? I won. Better luck next year, girls. Do you think any of this was worth your time? My time was only worth $7.25 an hour. Next question. Well, what are you going to do next? I couldn't remember which theme parks people go to when they win things. It never came back to me. Oh well. My school's vice principal asked if I'd give a personal shout out to my favorite vice principal, and I respectfully declined. Someone asked if I got my parents' permission before going online and learning about the secret menu. Everybody laughs, and the questions keep coming. They asked a few of the old standards. My favorite number, 7. My favorite Beatle, Pete. My favorite color, puce. My favorite Fincher flick, 7. My favorite Star Wars, 7. I'm asked what I'll feel in 10 years when I think back on this moment and how I juggle work and family and who I'd considered the top 5 rappers, dead or alive. Rhonda asked if I'll ever grow up or grow tired of the number 3 with cheese, fountain soda, and large fry. My parents ask which parts of the whole thing are supposed to be funny. My boss from the shoe factory asked me if I'm going to want my old job back. Eddie asked if he could take my order or what.
You come for the burgers, you stay for the such. You ask for a menu, you show off your stuff. It's the secret menu beauty pageant song. It's the secret menu beauty pageant